Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
Welcome to the Crypto 101 show, where we dive into the world of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, blockchain, and all the technology with it. Whether you're experienced or a beginner to crypto, our goal is to break down complex concepts and make it easy for you to understand the basics. From Bitcoin to altcoins, we'll cover it all in a way that's easy to digest and provide listeners with the knowledge and understanding they need to make informed decisions and better critical thought. Sit back, relax, and let's simplify your understanding of cryptocurrencies on the Crypto 101 show. The Bitcoin Series Part 12. How will governments try to control Bitcoin? Regulation, taxation, and central bank responses. I need to start off by saying this is not financial advice, so if you're looking for that, this show isn't for you. The content of this podcast episode is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed here are not meant to be taken as financial investment or any other advice. What happens when something built to be borderless collides with a system built on borders? In this episode, we're looking at how governments and legal systems respond to Bitcoin, not with fear or bans, but with definitions, categories, and controls. When they call it property, not money, what does that change? Can it live alongside state-issued currencies like CBDCs? And how does law reshape something that was never meant to be tamed? Welcome to Part 12, Bitcoin and the Law, where power meets code and the rules are being rewritten in real time. Let's jump in. Question 1. Will Bitcoin be banned, regulated, or embraced? When a technology threatens the status quo, governments react in one of three ways. They ban it, try to control it, or find a way to benefit from it. Bitcoin, being a global decentralized currency, touches every nerve of traditional power: monetary policy, surveillance, taxation, and national security. The real question isn't if governments will respond. It's how and whether the reaction is rooted in fear, strategy, or opportunism. Let's break this down in three parts. First part, they make a case for banning Bitcoin. Authoritarian governments like China, at various points, have tried outright bans. Why do they try this? Because Bitcoin undermines control over capital flows, monetary policy, and citizen tracking. A decentralized currency is the antithesis of centralized authority. But banning it rarely works. People route around it, VPNs exist, and peer-to-peer exchanges flourish. It's like banning the internet. You can try, but the protocol lives on. The second part is where they could try to regulate it. Most democratic governments land here. They try to regulate the on-ramps and off-ramps, exchanges, brokers, banks, because they can't control the protocol itself. So they enforce know your customer laws or anti-money laundering laws on exchanges, capital gains taxes, and licensing requirements for crypto businesses. Because they don't control Bitcoin, they can try to tax and watch every step around it. The third part is where they embrace it. Some nations like El Salvador or regions in Switzerland and Nigeria see Bitcoin as an opportunity to attract tech innovation and capital, to escape inflation or IMF dependency, or to flex sovereignty from bigger monetary powers. They adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, build mining infrastructure, or integrate wallets with government services. The real answer to question 1 is it'll be all three. Some nations will ban it, some will regulate it to death, others will embrace it for strategic gain, and some will do all three at once depending on who's in power. And they'll have to remember, Bitcoin doesn't need permission. It keeps running, block by block, across borders, beyond elections. Whether governments love it, fear it, or misunderstand it, Bitcoin doesn't care. And that neutrality It's what makes it so powerful and so politically disruptive. Question 2. What does it mean when governments classify Bitcoin as property, not money? It sounds like a technicality, but this one decision changes everything. When governments classify Bitcoin as property instead of money, they're not just labeling it for legal reasons. They're defining how you're allowed to use it and how they get to tax, track, and control it. When something is officially money, it's treated as a medium of exchange. You can spend it freely without creating a taxable event every time. But if Bitcoin is property, that's more like real estate or stocks. And that means every time you spend it, you owe capital gains taxes. Even buying coffee could be a taxable event. And it becomes harder to use Bitcoin as actual currency in day to day life. This classification also keeps Bitcoin in a legal gray zone. It's not illegal, but it's not practical as money either. And that can be intentional, because when governments call Bitcoin property, they don't have to ban it. They just bury it in red tape, which basically just hinders the progress it could make. It also sends a message. This isn't real money. Our money is still the real money. So while Bitcoin offers a path to financial sovereignty, the way it's classified today makes spending it difficult and keeps it locked in the realm of investment, not liberation. So call it property and you slow it down. Wrap it in paperwork, red tape, weigh it with tax, and call that freedom. They're just making it inconvenient. Not outlawed, just overburdened. Not banned, just boxed in. Because our society lives with labels, and what you call a thing decides how it's used. And calling Bitcoin property keeps it chained, not to a wall, but to the old world. Question 3. Can Bitcoin coexist with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies? On the surface, they're both digital, but that's where the similarities end. Bitcoin and CBDCs represent two completely different versions of money. One is decentralized, borderless, and trustless. The other is centralized, programmable, and state controlled. Bitcoin gives power to individuals. CBDCs give more power to governments. So, can they coexist? Technically, yes, but philosophically, it's a tug of war. CBDCs equal control, not freedom. With CBDCs, central banks can track every transaction in real time, set rules on when, where, or how you can spend, implement expiration dates on your savings, or even freeze your account with a line of code. And this isn't a conspiracy, it's part of how they're being pitched. Bitcoin does equal the exit door. Bitcoin offers the opposite: no central authority, permissionless, deflationary supply, and a self sovereign alternative to programmable money. That's what makes it a threat to governments pursuing digital control. Coexistence or competition? Could both systems operate side by side? Possibly, but as CBDCs roll out, governments may incentivize use of CBDCs through tax benefits or subsidies. They may penalize or heavily regulate peer to peer Bitcoin usage, or even frame Bitcoin as risky or subversive. So, yes, they can exist in the same timeline, but the more Bitcoin empowers individuals, the more pressure there will be to contain or outcompete it. The bottom line is Bitcoin is opt in freedom, where CBDCs are opt in control, and the world will eventually have to choose trust in math or trust in mandates. Bitcoin was never asking for permission, but now the system is watching closely. It's not just whether you can buy it, sell it, or hold it, it's about how they define it. And every legal label is a leash: property, asset, investment, threat. The law isn't just catching up to Bitcoin, it's trying to shape it. And a new question becomes isn't just, can Bitcoin survive within the rules? What happens if people start choosing rules written in code over laws written on paper? That tension isn't going away, it's just beginning. Thanks for tuning in to part 12 of the Bitcoin series. Hopefully, I'll see you in part 13, where we take this to Bitcoin and the global south, adoption in emerging economies. Until then, stay curious, stay grounded. I want to be extremely upfront that I try my best to leave all of my opinions out of this. I know this is very condensed and simplified, but I want you to gain your own understanding and beliefs and not be persuaded by me. I hope this helped you gain a better grasp of it. Please remember to share, follow, and subscribe to our mailing list and to your favorite podcast app for future episodes so you can gain more with your crypto knowledge. If this sparked something in you or made you question what's possible, I'd love to hear about it. And if you found this valuable, share it, tag someone who needs to hear it, or just sit with it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Crypto 101 Show. If you would like to join our email list, email us at thecrypto101show@gmail.com. For more helpful tips, subscribe in your favorite podcast app and leave a review so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.